Ramy Sabay, known worldwide as Sami Zayn, was born on July 12, 1984, in Laval, Quebec, Canada, to Syrian immigrant parents who instilled in him values of perseverance and resilience. Growing up in a culturally diverse household, he found himself balancing both traditional family values and the modern realities of Canadian society. From an early age, he was fascinated by professional wrestling, watching hours of it on television and dreaming of stepping into the squared circle. His fascination wasn't simply about the entertainment. It was about the storytelling, the athleticism, and the chance to connect with audiences on a deeply emotional level. This passion led him to pursue training in the early 2000s, taking on the grueling physical demands of becoming a wrestler while balancing the reality of working small shows for little to no money. In 2002, he made his professional debut under the name Stevie McFly, a moniker that reflected his youthful enthusiasm more than a carefully crafted persona. While the early years were filled with hardship, from sleeping in cramped accommodations while traveling to struggling to afford proper gear, these formative experiences molded Sabay into someone who could endure not just the physical strain of wrestling, but also the mental and financial toll that came with pursuing a dream against the odds. Independent circuit rise and the birth of El Generico. It was on the independent circuit where Sabay's career truly began to take shape, particularly through his reinvention as the masked luchador El Generico. This character, known for his high-flying style, underdog spirit, and comical yet heartfelt persona, quickly became a fan favorite in promotions such as Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, PWG, and Ring of Honor, ROH. Despite speaking little during his promos and allowing his body language and in-ring ability to do the storytelling, El Generico's character connected with audiences in ways few could replicate. Behind the mask, however, Sabay was sacrificing his health and finances, often traveling long distances across North America and even to Europe and Japan for modest pay. The independent circuit was grueling, with little security or guarantee of long-term stability, and the injuries piled up in silence. Sprains, concussions, and nagging back issues followed him constantly, but his refusal to quit kept him moving forward. The era of El Generico built Sabay's reputation as a skilled performer and master storyteller, someone destined to break through to the biggest stage, even if the road seemed impossible at times. WWE signing and the transformation into Sami Zayn. In 2013, Sabay's perseverance paid off when he signed with WWE, a milestone that validated years of sacrifice. WWE asked him to remove the mask and perform under a new identity, and so El Generico was retired in favor of Sami Zayn, a name that blended familiarity with authenticity, while still retaining the charm and spirit that had made his previous persona so beloved. His time in NXT quickly solidified his reputation as one of the best wrestlers on the roster, with a series of classic matches that highlighted his mix of technical skill, aerial maneuvers, and emotional storytelling. His feud with longtime friend and rival Kevin Owens became the centerpiece of his early WWE journey, cementing him as one of the most emotionally compelling performers of his generation. Yet even as he climbed the ranks, the physical toll began to weigh heavier. His style, fast, daring, and high risk, meant injuries were never far behind. In 2015, just as his career seemed ready to soar to new heights, Zayn suffered a torn rotator cuff in his shoulder, an injury so severe that it required major surgery and kept him sidelined for months. That setback taught him the cruel reality that success in wrestling often came with devastating costs to the body. Main roster success and constant struggles. When Zayn moved to WWE's main roster, he brought with him the heart of an underdog and the fire of a veteran performer. He immediately engaged in high-profile rivalries, particularly with Kevin Owens, whose story with him carried from the independents to WWE and grew more intense with every passing year. Despite his undeniable talent and connection with fans, Zayn often found himself struggling for consistent spotlight opportunities, sometimes positioned in mid-card roles that didn't fully reflect his abilities. This inconsistent booking created whispers about financial pressures, as wrestlers in top roles tend to secure bigger contracts and greater long-term stability. Although never publicly vocal about money, Zayn's dedication to supporting charitable causes and his family hinted at the delicate balance he had to strike between pursuing passion and ensuring financial security. Health challenges compounded these struggles, as nagging injuries to his knees, neck, and back followed him throughout the years. Fans often noted his resilience, but behind the curtain, those physical pains and constant rehabs were a reminder that every match risked pushing his body beyond repair. The pandemic era and relevance through character work. During the pandemic era, Zayn reinvented himself once again by leaning heavily into character work, becoming one of WWE's most entertaining villains. His conspiracy theory-driven persona, claiming that management and officials were against him, added humor and depth to his role while keeping him highly relevant in a time when live crowds were absent. Ironically, this period also highlighted his versatility, as he could thrive in both serious matches and comedic storytelling. However, the grind of performing during an uncertain time took its toll on his mental health. The isolation, the lack of traditional crowd energy, and the uncertainty about future job stability weighed heavily on many wrestlers, Zayn included. Rumors circulated that he was unhappy with WWE's creative direction, and while he never confirmed them outright, the whispers raised questions about his long-term security in the company. On the financial side, though he remained under contract, the pandemic forced him to pause some of his charity efforts, a sign of how even established stars could feel financial strain when global crises disrupted the industry. The Bloodline storyline and career resurgence. Zayn's career reached another remarkable peak when he became entangled in the legendary Bloodline storyline, alongside Roman Reigns, the Usos, and Solo Sikoa. His role as the conflicted honorary use created some of the most emotional storytelling in WWE history, blending comedy, drama, and betrayal in ways few had imagined. The crowd embraced him as never before, turning his underdog status into a movement that captured the essence of professional wrestling as a shared emotional experience. Yet, while this storyline cemented his legacy, it also intensified the physical risks he faced as the big matches grew in scale and physicality. Whispers began circulating about Zayn suffering brutal bumps and hidden injuries during these storylines, including rumors of a rib injury during a live event that was never confirmed but often speculated about by fans. The heavy workload that came with this renewed spotlight left him pushing his body harder, despite the fact that years of punishment had already created long-term health concerns. Brutal accident rumors and injury updates. As with many high-profile wrestlers, Zayn has not escaped the rumor mill, particularly when it comes to brutal accidents. In recent years, whispers emerged of a backstage accident during travel that left him dealing with undisclosed injuries, though these were never fully confirmed by WWE or Zayn himself. There were also reports of him suffering a nasty fall during a match at a live event, which supposedly aggravated pre-existing back issues. While fans worried about his long-term ability to compete, Zayn continued to appear on television, sometimes taped up or moving more cautiously than before, suggesting he was working through pain to keep storylines alive. These rumors have created an air of uncertainty about his health, as insiders often point out that wrestlers are under pressure to perform, even when less than 100%. Some even speculated that Zayn's absence from certain non-televised events was due to ongoing rehab for leg or knee-related issues. The lack of transparency has fueled speculation, leaving fans both concerned and impressed at his resilience. Recent fights in the United States Championship. In 2025, Zayn captured the WWE United States Championship, marking his first reign with the titles and another milestone in his career. His matches in pursuit of the championship were intense, often involving stiff strikes and dramatic near falls that pushed his body to the limit. In one of his most recent fights, he reportedly walked out with noticeable bruising and was favoring his shoulder, leading to renewed speculation about whether he was carrying an injury while performing. Despite these concerns, Zayn continues to deliver performances that highlight his ability to adapt to both technical wrestling and emotionally charged storytelling. His championship run is seen as vindication for years of being overlooked, yet it is also clouded by the constant undercurrent of health questions. Many wonder how long his body can endure the relentless pace of WWE's schedule, particularly given his history of surgeries and lingering pain from earlier years. Health issues and long-term concerns. Zayn's career, like many of his peers, has been defined by resilience in the face of physical decline. Shoulder surgeries, nagging back issues, and rumors of chronic knee pain are part of the narrative that surrounds his name today. Fans often speculate about his long-term health, especially considering the brutal style he employs in matches that involve dives, suplexes, and high-impact moves. Beyond physical pain, there have also been hints at the toll wrestling takes on mental health, as the constant travel schedule and time away from family weigh heavily. Zayn, who is married with one child, has spoken before about the importance of balancing career and family, but the demands of WWE make that balance extremely difficult. While there has been no public acknowledgement of financial problems, the reality is that wrestlers who are not consistently at the top often face pressures that go beyond the ring, including the uncertainty of contract negotiations and the unpredictable nature of injury recovery. Financial pressures and life beyond wrestling. Although Zayn is a decorated performer and a recognized name in WWE, financial pressures are always a shadow in the background of a professional wrestler's life. Injuries that keep a performer sidelined can affect earning potential, and while Zayn's current status as United States Champion has likely boosted his standing, the unpredictable nature of wrestling means financial stability is never fully guaranteed. His well-known dedication to charitable work, including fundraising for humanitarian causes in Syria, has added another layer of responsibility to his finances. Balancing his family obligations, charity projects, and the constant wear and tear of his body highlights the challenges he faces beyond the spotlight. Many fans admire him for being open about using his platform for good, but they also worry that such commitments add additional stress to an already fragile situation. Current status and legacy in progress. As of now, Sami Zayn remains a prominent figure in WWE, holding the United States Championship and continuing to deliver performances that remind fans of why they embraced him in the first place. Yet the whispers of injury, the rumors of brutal accidents, and the speculation about his financial pressures all paint a picture of a man who is constantly walking a tightrope between greatness and vulnerability. His story is not simply one of victories in the ring, but of endurance in the face of hardship. Every time he steps into the ring, fans know they are watching someone who has given his entire life to wrestling, even at the expense of his health and peace of mind. His legacy is still unfolding, and while his current status reflects resilience and determination, the questions about his future remain unresolved. Will his body hold up for another decade, or will the weight of injuries and financial pressures force him into an earlier retirement than fans would like? Whatever the outcome, Sami Zayn's journey from Laval to WWE stardom is already etched in wrestling history as one of passion, sacrifice, and unshakable humanity.